Imagine a silent lake, surrounded by mountains shrouded in mist, where the water is so dark it seems to absorb the light around it. Now imagine that beneath this still surface, something moves. Something ancient. Something massive. Something that, according to reports, grows. And never stops. What if I told you that, in the heart of Iceland, there is a creature that was not born from gods or divine curses, but from a human mistake as simple as greed? How many legends begin with a warning ignored? And how many end with something that should never have existed? Today, on Urban Secrets, we dive into one of the most disturbing stories of Nordic folklore, the Serpent of Lake Lagarfljót. Iceland is a country where the past was never buried. Their folklore is not just tradition, it is almost an extension of reality. Elves, trolls, nature spirits, and ancient creatures are part of the collective imagination, to the point that roads are diverted so as not to offend the hidden people. But among all these stories, there is one that does not live in the mountains, nor in the forests, it lives in the water. Lake Lagarfljót, located in eastern Iceland, is one of the largest and deepest lakes in the country. Its waters are cold, dark, and murky, fed by glacial rivers that carry sediments capable of drastically reducing visibility. It is the kind of place where you never know what lies just beneath your feet. Historical records indicate that for centuries, local residents have reported strange sightings, impossible ripples, long, sinuous shapes crossing the lake, and, occasionally, something resembling a colossal body emerging for a few seconds, just long enough to leave doubt and fear. The creature has gone by many names over time, but became known as Lagarfljótsmörn, the Serpent of Lagarfljót, and unlike many mythical monsters, this one was not born fully formed. It grew. The origin of the serpent traces back to an old Icelandic legend, passed down through generations. It begins almost innocently. According to the tale, a young farm girl receives a small worm. Some versions say it was a magical larva, along with a gold ring. The instruction was clear. If she placed the ring with the creature and kept it protected, the worm would bring prosperity. But there was one condition. She must not look at it while it was growing. Time passed, days turned into weeks, and curiosity won. When the girl finally looked into the container again, the worm had grown too much, too large, too terrifying. In panic, she tried to get rid of the creature by throwing it into the nearest Lake Lagarfljót. That was the moment the mistake became irreversible. Free, nourished by the cold, deep waters, the worm kept growing, and growing, and growing, until it was no longer a worm, until it became something that could no longer be ignored. The first sightings reports began to surface. Fishermen claimed to see something moving beneath their boats. Villagers said the water stirred without any wind. Some swore they saw a long, dark body, as thick as a tree trunk, slowly emerging before vanishing again. By the 14th century, written records already mentioned the creature as part of local folklore. Not as metaphor, but as something real. Unlike dragons or mythic serpents tied to gods, the Serpent of Lagarfljót had no wings, breathed no fire, guarded no treasure. It simply existed. And that was enough to inspire terror. A creature that grows without limits, the most disturbing detail of the legend is not merely the serpent's existence. It is its nature. It is said that Lagarfljótsmörn never stops growing, that the longer it remains submerged, the larger it becomes, that the lake itself, no matter how vast, may eventually become too small to contain it. Some versions claim the creature has already encircled the lake entirely, biting its own tail, a sinister echo of the Ouroboros, the eternal serpent. Others suggest it coils in the depths, waiting for the right moment. Centuries of reports, From fear to the camera over the centuries, the serpent ceased to be just a story whispered during long winter nights. In the 20th century, sightings began to receive more modern records. In 1983, a group of people claimed to see a massive dark shape moving slowly beneath the frozen surface of the lake. But it was in 2012 that the myth gained worldwide attention. A video recorded from a distance showed something strange beneath the ice of Lagarfljót, a long, dark form, apparently moving in an organic way, as if crawling under the frozen surface. The video spread rapidly. Skeptics said it was just a fishing net. Others claimed it was a log. But there was a problem. Logs do not move like that, and the lake was far too silent. What lives in the dark waters? Scientists attempted to explain the sightings through natural phenomena, underwater currents, optical illusions, ice formations, logs carried by glacial rivers, but no explanation managed to fully close the case. Because Lagarfljót is not just deep, it is ancient, and ancient waters keep secrets. The serpent has never been captured, never killed, never proven, nor completely disproven. It remains there, suspended between myth and reality, between what we see and what we choose not to see. Because the real question is not whether the Serpent of Lake Lagarfljót exists. The real question is, if it has always been there, why do we keep pretending we don't see it? There is one detail in the legend of the Serpent of Lake Lagarfljót that is rarely mentioned. Something that doesn't appear in tourist videos, nor in cultural brochures, nor in rushed scientific explanations. The serpent never attacks. It does not sink boats. It does not devour fishermen. It does not rise against villagers. It simply watches, and for many scholars of Icelandic folklore, this is what makes the creature truly disturbing. Because monsters that attack can be fought, creatures that hide cannot. Some older versions of the legend claim that the serpent is not a common predator, but a marker, a sign, a presence that appears whenever something is about to change. Accounts say that before periods of famine, local crises, or unexpected deaths, the lake would behave strangely. The water grew restless. The ice cracked without any apparent reason. And then, something moved beneath the surface, as if the creature were an omen. Others believe the serpent does not grow out of biological need, but through accumulation of time, of fear, of stories. Each report would feed its form. Each gaze would reinforce its existence. And there is an even more unsettling theory, that Lagarfljótsmørn is not confined to the lake. According to this interpretation, the serpent is connected to underground rivers that run beneath Iceland, fed by ancient glaciers, invisible channels, too deep to be fully mapped, which would mean the creature does not live in a lake. It lives beneath the land. Lagarfljót would be merely the window. And if this is true, then what occasionally surfaces is not the entire body. It is only a part, a fragment of something far larger, too ancient to be named, growing slowly, not to attack, but to remain. And perhaps, just perhaps, humanity's greatest mistake was not throwing the worm into the lake, but pretending, for centuries, that it stayed there. Lakes are meant to reflect the sky. But Lagarfljót reflects something else. It reflects the human fear that not everything needs intention to be dangerous, that not every threat runs, roars, or attacks. Some simply exist. The Serpent of Lake Lagarfljót demands no sacrifices. It guards no treasure. It does not seek worship. It grows in silence, in forgetfulness, in doubt. Perhaps it is only a legend, a misunderstanding carried across centuries, a collection of coincidences frozen in time, or perhaps, somewhere beneath those dark waters, something is simply waiting for the moment when we can no longer pretend we don't see it. Because sometimes The true terror is not what rises from the lake, but the fact that, when it sinks again, the lake remains exactly the same. Calm, still, as if nothing ever happened. If you believe some legends were not created to entertain, but to warn, leave a like. If you know another creature that exists between myth and reality, share this video. And if you want to keep exploring the secrets the world tried to hide beneath the surface, subscribe to Urban Secrets. Because not everything that lives in the depths wants to be found. Some things prefer to be forgotten.